Erev Tov Rabotai, we are continuing with our Mishna Yomi Masechet Eduyot. We are up to Perek Bet, Mishnah Vav. Today's Mishnayot should be Le'ilui Nishmat, Neria ben Svetlana, Ranbayev, Eliyahu ben Burcha Israelov, Chana bat Miriam, Sason ben Rai, Yoshua ben Shifra, Menuchatam beGan Eden, Amen, and Le'avdil ben Chaim leChaim, v'derefua shelemav, Daniel Shalom ben Rosa, Betor Shach Cholei Yisrael, and Dachlama Me'erav, Binyamin, Old Zion, Chai ben Dvorah. One of the melachot forbidden on Shabbat is mifarek, extracting a food or liquid from its casing. Mifarek is a subcategory of the melacha of dash threshing, in which kernels of grain are removed from their stalks. This includes squeezing fruit or other produce from for the purpose of obtaining its juice. In order to prevent someone from doing this melacha, the rabbis decreed that even if juice oozes out on its own from the fruit on Shabbat, it may not be used on that day. The Mishnah records a dispute between Rabbi Yishmael and Rabbi Akiva regarding this decree. Sheloshat devarim amar Rabbi Yishmael. Rabbi Yishmael ruled about three things, the three types of produce listed below. Velo hodu lo Rabbi Akiva, velo hoda lo Rabbi Akiva, and Rabbi Akiva did not agree with him. Hashum va'boser va'melilot sheiskan mibod yom. If garlic, unripe grapes, or unripe ears of grain were chopped up during the daytime before Shabbat, so that their juice will ooze out by itself. The liquids of these items were commonly used as dips. One would cut them up and place stones or other heavy objects on them so that the juice would come out by itself. Rabbi Yishmael says that he may finish letting the juice ooze out after dark on Shabbat in order to use it on Shabbat. It is not necessary to remove the weights on Shabbat. Once the produce is chopped up, the juice flows out on its own without any squeezing. Therefore, even if he were to squeeze the produce on Shabbat, he would not be guilty of a biblical transgression, since the juice is going to come out of the fruit anyway without any squeezing. The act of squeezing is not like the biblically prohibited melacha of mifarek, extracting. Since there is no possibility of a biblical transgression, Rabbi Yishmael rules that the rabbinic prohibition against using juice that oozed out on Shabbat does not apply here. Rabbi Akiva disagrees. Rabbi Akiva omer lo igmo. But Rabbi Akiva says that one may not let the juice finish oozing out on Shabbat, meaning he may not leave the weights on the fruit in order to make juice come out on Shabbat, because that juice would be forbidden. According to Rabbi Akiva, the rabbinic decree applies even in this case, and the juice that comes out on Shabbat is prohibited. And the Rav tells us that Halacha follows the opinion of Rabbi Yishmael. And that is the end of Mishnah Vav. The Mishnayot from here to the end of the chapter cite rulings that were issued by Rabbi Akiva or were said before him. Mishnah Zayin begins, Sheloshat Devarim Amru Lifnei Rabbi Akiva. Three laws were said before Rabbi Akiva. Shnayim Mishum Rabbi Eliezer, two in the name of Rabbi Eliezer. V'chad Mishum Rabbi Yoshua, and one in the name of Rabbi Yoshua. Shnayim Mishum Rabbi Eliezer, these are the two laws that were said in the name of Rabbi Eliezer. Yotzet Isha Be'ir Shel Zahav. A woman may go outside in a public domain on Shabbat with a city of gold, a golden tiara designed to look like the city of Jerusalem on her head, because we are not concerned that she might take it off and carry it in the public domain, which would be a biblical transgression. The rabbis decreed that a woman may not walk in a public domain wearing jewelry on Shabbat, because she might take it off in order to show a friend and come to carry it in the public domain. Carrying something for a month in the public domain on Shabbat is a biblical transgression. However, Rabbi Eliezer ruled that this decree does not apply to a city of gold, because it was worn only by wealthy women who would not remove their jewelry in public to show their friends. In current times, the Art School Seder brings down in the footnote, when items of jewelry are common, no woman is likely to take them off to show others. For this reason, many authorities do not forbid women to wear jewelry nowadays on Shabbat. Again, this is a discussion in the Poskim. The Mishnah continues, Umafriche yonim psulim la'edut, and people who raise pigeons for money are unfit to give testimony in court, because taking the winnings of the bet is considered theft under rabbinic law. A person who gambles does so thinking that he will win. His commitment to pay if he loses is not made wholeheartedly. Gambling is therefore a form of asmachta, a monetary commitment that is made without expecting that it will have to be fulfilled. And asmachta is not legally binding. Therefore, a gambler who collects his winnings is taking money to which he does not have a legal right, which is a form of theft. The sages therefore considered him untrustworthy with regard to giving testimony, as the Alayev explains in his commentary to the Mishnah in Rosh Hashanah, chapter 1, Mishnah 8. On the biblical level, he is not considered a thief, because the loser paid the money of his own accord without the winner seizing it from him. V'echad mishum Rabbi Yoshua. Those were the two laws in the name of Rabbi Eliezer, and this is the one law that is said that said in the name of Rabbi Yoshua, Hasheretz befi chulda, if the carcass of a sheretz, one of the 8 species of creeping animals that transmit tumah when dead, these species are listed in Vayikra chapter 11 verses 29 and 30. If it was in the mouth of a weasel, umhalechet al gabei kikarot shel tumah, and the weasel was walking over loaves of terumah, safek naga, safek lo naga, safek lo naga, and there is a doubt whether the sheretz touched the loaves and made them tameh or did not touch the loaves. Sfekot tahor, the law regarding this doubt is that the loaves remain tahor. This is because the dead sheretz was being moved from place to place as it was being carried by the weasel. And the rule is that if there is a doubt whether a moving item transmitted tumah, we assume that it did not. The Gemara Nazir, page 38, learns from a verse that in a case of a doubt, where we do not know whether a source of tumah made something tameh, the law is that if the source of tumah was moving, it did not transmit tumah. This is true even in a private domain. Although a doubt that arose in a private domain is treated as having resulted in tumah, that rule applies only where the source was still and not where it was moving. And that is in Abotai of today's Mishna Yomi. Baruch Adonai Le'olam. Amen v'amen.